Welcome to the Breakthrough to Your Best Success online event. Join your host, Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino, and the contributors from the Success Guidebook and other special guests to visualize, actualize, and amplify you and your best success. This conference will help you redefine success, transform your goals, embrace change, design and realize your best life, and much more.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Breakthrough to Your Best Success Summit. I'm here with Glendon, Coach Kate Glendon, Coach Kate, however you want to say
Hi.
Hi, it's so good to be with you. Kate's in Chapter 9 of the Success Guidebook, and you were so kind. It was so kind of you to let me share your story with the readers. I think it was, it's such a moment to go from that story to where you are today and see you with your new website and your new coaching practice and all these great things, your new photo shoot, your photos that you took the other day, your social media humming and all these things. And so it's been so fun to meet you and just see your dramatic transformation, to just, you're just so, I wouldn't say you're still Kate. I want to say so different, but not really, but you have a glow about you and a happiness about you that you had, but I think it's fully there now. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a while to kind of let it come through. A lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs, but resiliency and focus on letting myself come through and believing in me. And it really is starting to show.
Yeah, it really is. I can see it. It's like you're stepping into your power. When I first met you, you were sort of tiptoeing a little bit, not sure what steps to take, what moves to make, what was right, what was wrong for you, and so forth. And it feels like you've been doing that for a while and have kind of really finally cracked the code.
Absolutely. I had just my toe in the water, a little bit of everything, kind of tiptoeing around the tulips, as they say, not trusting myself, afraid of myself, making the wrong move. And now I've really kind of showed up boldly, and feel confident in my choices, and learning boundaries. And so understanding what feels good for me and really listening to my intuition and my gut and how my decisions and what I want to do help me reach my goals.
Yeah. When I first met you, you were at a job you hated. Do you want to talk just slightly about that without, too much information? We don't need.
Yeah, I was at a job that, I would cry on Sundays. I would cry going to work. And then about, I would say 100 feet before I pulled into the parking lot, my chest started to pound and concave. And I was afraid of my own shadow in that building, afraid of people talking about me, afraid of losing my job every day. And it was just really affecting my mindset, my wellness, and just my overall well-being,
Yeah.
And making me second guess my choices and who I really was, because that's not who I am deep inside, but because I've allowed myself to step away from who I am and started looking to others for my self-worth and validation and forgetting my own confidence, my power, how smart I am, I've kind of I melted on my office floor, literally.
Yeah, and I remember being there, and we worked together for a considerable amount of time to get you. Eventually, you did quit that job. You got a new one. You opened up your coaching practice. Well, you became a life coach. Opened up your coaching practice, and it's cool to see you doing the things that you love to do and helping other people now with their confidence and their lives and their well-being.
Absolutely. I never want another person, or especially a woman, to go through what I went through.
So the Success Guidebook examines success in a new and redefined way. How has your perspective and pursuit of success evolved through your life?
It's evolved so much. I think, when I was younger till now, as I've mentioned in the book and previously, I really based my pursuit of success and how great I was on material objects and others people's opinions. So what I owned, purses, clothes, awards, credentials, all this, whatever recognition I could, put into a basket, or whatever high priced ticket items I could wear, or, just anything like that. I would collect compliments like candy. And I didn't realize that I was stuck in this cycle of just seeking external validation until I got older and realized I never learned or never had that mechanism to love myself or learn what self-care and self-love was. So every time I got more external validation and it just left me feeling bored and inadequate, and kept making me work harder and harder for more. So after like years of just neglecting myself and really understanding what success was and working on myself and really kind of what am I doing and why? What are my goals and how is that getting me to where I want to be? My success has evolved into, what do I want my life to look like in 10 years? Is working harder, really what I want right now? Or do I, want to spend time at home with my husband and doing things around the house or traveling? So success isn't something where I'm looking to, collect friends and please other people. Success is now defined by if I'm happy, if I'm healthy, and if I'm doing everything that I need to do to, be successful on my own terms. Am I meeting the goals of my job, of my business, and the ones that I've laid out for myself personally? So I've really kind of shifted my thoughts and focus and put up boundaries so that I could kind of really turn my life around to build my self-love. And, it's been a kind of up and down journey. Every day is not perfect, but it's really where my focus is now.
You mentioned in speaking there about you're hinting at well-rounded success and comprehensive success, where it's one of the things the book teaches. We teach on Best Ever You. You teach as a Best Ever You coach. We teach, there's 6 major principles for Best Ever You, core, art, heart, humanity, spirit, sport. And so this idea of comprehensive success.
I think that's what it should be. Success should be comprehensive, because if you're failing in one area, then how are you successful? Because then you're going to be stressed out, burnt out, and in that, you can chase money all you want, but are you happy doing that? Because some other area of your life is lacking. And, once you get to that dollar or that weight loss, you're going to be either wanting more or missing something out. And then the cycle just evolves. So I think that, having, bits and pieces of the whole wheel of comprehensive success is what we need to really be happy in life. And I think that that's what really matters. And that's different for everyone. But if we're not focusing on all aspects of success, then we're missing the mark here, because, what are we what's a barrier that's not letting you see the other parts of it, whether it's emotional, spiritual, financials, or relationships.
It's interesting because sometimes you need to put the gas pedal on a certain area of your life to get it going and so forth, but it's important that you don't do that and sacrifice all the other areas of your life. But sometimes we do need to amplify a certain area to get where we need to go. But I love it when people are consciously ambitious and really aware of what's happening in the other areas of their life, so they don't just go full throttle towards something and then just let everything else go. I talk about kind of like the price you pay for things. There's always a risk for the reward, or there's always a price you're going to pay for something. Are you willing to pay it or not? Do you agree with that type of concept as well? And do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I think, we all have to kind of, if we have a focus and we want to get something achieved, then we got to put our, goals and our agenda towards that. But I think self-reflection, using the wheel of life to see where we have neglected different areas or not, focused on, while we're focusing on, getting our business started, losing weight, visiting relatives, focusing on going to whatever spiritual dimension, to making sure that we're always looking and reflecting to see what's going on. And so sometimes things will have to kind of rest while you move forward in others. But if you're able to balance and see that, that's okay, because nothing's streamlined, nothing's perfect. There's always going to be something that may be a little bit behind or lower or higher, but you have to be able to sit down and see that and accept that and just know that that's going to happen, and just start where you are. And when you notice that, adjust where necessary, because goals are always meant to be amended sometimes, because sometimes certain things in life occur.
Yeah. The same thing too for like being in a state of misery or unhappiness. If you're unhappy, if you're super unhappy in one area of your life, sometimes that affects all the areas of your life. Have you ever seen that in motion? I know
Yeah, the ripple effect.
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced it myself. Not being happy at my job, you take it floods, because you might complain to your friends, your family members, you may not want to do anything socially or anything. So it does, have that effect on your outer part of your circle as well.
Yeah.
So all of that does work.
Yeah. All right. How has the notion of success guided you in making big business and life decisions?
Well, I can say that some of these decisions were not the best, but I've definitely learned from them. And so I've realized a lot when making big life decisions. And I used to make decisions based off of fear and in the sense of scarcity. So, a lot of decisions were made, well, I need to make more money, or I need to do certain things because need to overcome imposter syndrome. And I, need to focus on this. And by doing that, I might have overspent on different things because I was not acting from a place where I was focused on success, but I was focused on my fear and self-doubt and trying to get rid of that emotion. So those are things that I've realized and have kind of switched in how I make the notion of success and how I make business decisions and life decisions. So I don't do anything off the cuff of the hat. I actually always have to sleep on it and think about it and journal about it. How does this reach my now goal? Is this the go with my mission and desire in life and create the future memory? Because I realized that if I'm just, falling into the trap of making decisions that everyone else is doing, or getting, kind of stuck in the noise of everything and comparing myself to what other people's are doing, then I may just make a decision that doesn't feel right for me. So I really have to kind of see how it feels for me. And I don't need to fit into a cookie cutter box like everyone else does. I can lead my own way because I am that confident person that I love and I've really tried to be. So, and I am now, and I'm owning it. And so I just have to really focus on that with each decision.
I heard the word cookie and cutter, and I'm like, cookie.
I know you make good cookies.
I love cookies. Is there an area of your life in, thinking of the wheel of life that we use in our coaching and things like that? Is there an area of your life where you like, I'm kind of automatically successful in that area. I don't have to work so hard at that area, but I do want to work over here. Do you ever feel that way? Or do you feel like you're constantly working in every single area of your life all the time to try and be successful? Do you feel like any one area comes easier to you than another?
I feel like I'm always working. I feel like I'm always working in every area. I'm always learning. There's definitely areas in my life I pause at.
Yeah.
Whether I'm not interested in it or I just am overwhelmed by it. There's definitely areas that I hyper focus on, which is not good at either. But it's definitely, I get it. Like some things are put on pause because other things are more important.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about when we don't meet our goals. sometimes I think this is really important for people because success isn't just, constantly achieving. We have setbacks and things like that that take us in different directions or make us want to quit or whatever it is. So sometimes we miss our goals and don't achieve the level of success we hoped for or imagined. Can you remember a time where you had to persevere through this type of disappointment in your life?
There's a lot of missed goals. I mean, I never made varsity soccer in high school. But it is what it is. And there's or that job that I didn't get, that I really thought I had in the bag. So I get what it's like to focus or, put on the sidelines because you're injured, and you didn't take care of yourself. And so when that happens, I like to think of it as, well, this isn't the right time for me to do that, or that wasn't in my purpose right now. It's not my time. So I try to refocus it and take it, okay, if I miss my goal here, whether it's what can I take away? What did I learn from it? How can I reshape it so that I can work on a new goal or take whatever went wrong to fix the system in the future? It definitely takes a hit to the self-esteem, self-worth,
Yeah.
but, I take a day to recover and try to figure out how to move forward and not to just sit in that, because not everyone makes all their goals. But as long as I tried and I didn't just sit there and do nothing, I feel that is success.
Yeah. I love the reroute that you just talked about, because sometimes things just aren't right for you and you look back and you're like, "Phew, I'm so glad that actually didn't work out." Right.
Yeah.
And other times it's truly disappointing though. You're like, I really wanted that. I've had that happen a bunch of times where you're like, I really thought I was going to get that job, or I really thought I was going to do this or that or another thing. And you don't. And it's like, oh, do I try harder or do I just go in a different direction? It's tricky. But I think that's one of the beautiful things about having friends such as yourself. When I'm thinking of lofty goals or big dreams or book sales or ideas or whatever it is. And same with you, when you're doing, you're setting up your website for your coaching business, or you're stepping into your power to be a coach and things like this. It's cool to be able to have somebody you trust and love to share your lofty, crazy ideas with.
Absolutely. There's only a few people that really get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's that inner circle of people around you that you surround yourself with, who knows you, loves you, supports you, and can, maybe not even necessarily propel you in the direction you want to go in, but can be there to give you a big hug if you're, wounded along the way. Right.
Absolutely.
Or
You need at least one or two of those.
Yeah, especially when you get those hits to your self-esteem and your confidence and so forth, because no's are tough. No's and missing marks and missing goals and things like that. That's tough on your person. So it takes a lot of self-care and rerouting and patience and friends, and there's probably a whole list of things it takes. How has authenticity and integrity factored into achieving success for you and maintaining it?
That is a really big question for me. And to be honest, really hard for me to answer. And to be honest, I haven't been, authentic to myself until recently. And I'm learning to really be true to myself and uphold my beliefs. And so I can honestly say for the past 3 years, I've been really sticking to who I am and owning it and being true to myself. And those that, don't want to see it or don't want to come along with it have really just, slipped through my life. And I'm okay with that because I want to be transparent and honest in all aspects. And I believe that's how you work through success, because sometimes you're going to mess up and sometimes you're going to need to take responsibility, and you need to be open and honest about that. And that's helped me build strong relationships internally, externally, personally, and professionally, is just being true to yourself and being honest. And so I believe this 100% is how you can continue to achieve success, is being respectful, being yourself, and being confident in you, because those that vibe with you and want to take you to the next level or are on your level, you will find them and they will stay with you. And then you can create something together, but they'll also be your accountability partners. So I've learned that, smaller, people with you on your group is better, but also, being honest with yourself and not giving yourself excuses or a way out when things don't go right, but also celebrating every little milestone, because that is so important, because sometimes you do hear no's and some things take a long time to achieve, and you have to celebrate your success, because when you do that, you build up your mindset more positively as well as your confidence.
What's it like to be you and now show up with everything about you, you, rather than dimming your light to fit in?
It's very different. It's a mindset that I have to switch to. Um, I see things differently now. I never realized how mean girls were until I got confident in my own self.
Yeah.
I will never, ever treat anyone like that or allow
No,
it
me either.
to happen in front of me. And it's interesting to see how their lives are now compared to mine. And I wouldn't trade my life for anything. But it was very hard to go through the trauma of Mean Girls and not have anyone stick up for you. So,
And then elaborate for me if you want to, and if you can, and we may or may not keep this in, but I think it's a good lesson for people and women and young people in particular as you're growing up and you encounter people and so forth. But I don't know about you, but when I was Mrs. Maine, I was probably the skinniest I've ever been in my life, and that's after having 4 children. And there was an entire online website dedicated to how fat my thighs were. And quote, eat another cookie. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I've dedicated my life to like making cookies and doing story times with kids. It's not about eating cookies. And I'm a former gymnast, so my thighs are pretty muscular, but I'm pretty skinny right now. I think I weighed all of 118 pounds tops. But there's nothing to create an eating disorder like an entire group of people bashing you online. And this is before Facebook and things like that. This is like those forums kind of thing. Why are we so mean to women about our weight? Whether it's you're too skinny, you're too heavy, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too old, you're too this, you're too that, you're too blonde. I've had somebody tell me I'm too blonde. I'm just like, talk about that a little bit.
I've had everyone.
I know you have. That's why I'm
from family to friends to strangers comment on my eating, my looks, to everything. Go eat a cheeseburger. Yeah. What happened? Are you sick? Like everything. Yeah. And I think it comes from their own insecurity, with themselves. They, or they were not taught manners. It's either or.
I think. Were you not taught manners?
Because I don't know what they're thinking. Because if you're someone like me, you hang on to words, and those words follow you. And if you or ever a ruminator, you ruminate about it. But
I'm too afraid to get up on a stage when there's been a whole bunch of people comment on your appearance before. It's nerve-wracking. It's like, okay, is this whole audience going to open up a forum again? Kind of thing. That's truth right there, from my heart to yours, kind of thing. It scares you when you've been bullied before. Adult bullying. I had a guest on the other day, and he talked all about his new book, and it was all about adult bullying. And I think adult bullying is so real. It's different than child bullying, but it still exists. And I think it's happening more and more and more. And
I think it's worse.
I think it's worse. Yeah. And we don't have anybody to go to. There's no principal you can go to or anything like that to it's an interesting thing, but I think it attacks our success. And I don't know if I have everything formulated that I'm thinking about this just yet, but do you agree, sort of? Maybe together we can write a nice blog or do a video or something.
I definitely agree with that. Adult bullying is just
horrendous.
Their own insecurities, their fear of whatever it is, we trigger something in them that they haven't resolved yet, and they think they can project it out on us. And you either stop it, we ignore it, but it's just unexcusable. But at the end of the day, they are unhappy. So I guess we bless them and wish them well, and
Yeah.
then try to take care of ourselves, because it still hurts. It hurts a lot. And it comes from people that we often like.
Yeah. And so if you're not, I don't think all of us are as strong as we project, 100% of the time, social media. So you present this and that and another thing. And I think you can just see it in various people at moments. You're like, why are people ganging up on this person online or that person or saying that? You can see it in the comments. If you look at people's posts and pictures and things like that, they'll, it's like a free for all to comment anything. And I'm like, that is just terrible.
Yeah, it's anonymous and you can get in trouble.
Yeah.
So people think they can just say whatever they want, but people see what you say and they think things too.
Yeah. But not to dwell, and I certainly don't. I think sometimes you do have to dwell on the negative a little bit to find a way through and find the positive for situations like that, because I think it's a real life situation. I think it's really happening, and I really truly think it hinders people's beauty, success, their flow about them, their energy, their authenticity. People are afraid to be their authentic selves for fear of bullying.
Absolutely. I know I was. I sometimes
Yeah.
still fall into that
I
trap.
do too. Yeah. I'm like, I'm 55 years old. What are, or if I post that picture, people are going to go, oh my God, there's a wrinkle and, kind of thing. Or are we going to be nice or what? So it's very nerve wracking to think about how people are. But I want to thank you for being in the Success Guidebook and letting me share your story and being my friend and being a coach on Best Ever You and all the fun things that we do together. And I'm just grateful for you. And I appreciate you being here.